Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to tonight's special Lionel Nation evening special as we break down what is happening regarding the worst case in American juridical history. Everything you've heard about this is absolutely spot on. It is without a doubt the worst thing I have ever seen. I mean, it is horrible. And the reason why it's horrible, it's one incoherent moment after another. And what I want to do right now, my friends, is to first of all welcome you. Thank you for being with us. And before we begin this evening's liturgy, this evening's service, let me remind you, as always, that it is 161 days until the election. 161 days. Keep that in mind. I'm going to be talking about the case, the charges, the verdict, what I think is going to happen, what could happen. Is Trump going to go to jail? Could he go to prison? Could they take him away? Could he still run? What happens if they find him guilty of part of the charges? Let's say 17, half of the 34 counts. What does that mean? What about appealing? Would they take him right away? What does this mean? What is going on here? Is this case as bad as they say? Is this judge as bad as they say? Is this as horrible? And today, this goes to show you how desperate these people. They actually sent Robert De Niro, this cretin, this over-the-hill, overrated actor that we have been told is great. He's great. He has been the same role in every movie since, with the exception of Rupert Pupkin, King of Comedy. That's the only one. No matter what it is, he may tone the New York accent down. He may make it into that weird kind of twangy kind of thing. Come out, wherever you are, Cape Fear. He's the worst. He loses weight. He shaves his head. He gains weight. He may go through a physical. He's the worst. And you have been told from the beginning that he's the greatest actor of all time. He sucks, and he's a moron. And they've got more crap on him than you can imagine. Remember how he was linked to Belushi's death along with Robin Williams at the Chateau Marmont, trafficking, prostitution, and then all of a sudden, woof, nothing came of that. They've got more dirt on this guy than you can imagine. He's like their little puppy. They bring him out whenever they want him. Come on. Tom Hanks, come on. Clooney, come on out. Barbara Streisand, come on, everybody come out. Everybody come out. Come out wherever you are. And this is the desperation. These people, I don't know what they're thinking. So we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be going through this very, very carefully. And I'm going to give you the definitive answer as to why. Now listen carefully. Not only is President Trump not guilty of this case, he's not guilty of anything regarding this. I don't know what he's done in other matters in his life. But this one, let me just tell you this right now. I'm not trying to be nice. I'm not trying to say, oh, I like the guy. So I am telling you, he did not commit anything. Do you hear me? Anything. He's done nothing. Nothing. And you can say, well, how does he do that? I can't answer every question. So, my friends, make sure, first of all, that you are responsible for making sure that you are subscribed. Make sure, because I'm hearing from people that some people are unsubscribed. Make sure you like the video. Likes, of course, are the bread and butter of what we do. We appreciate your liking us and being a part of this. Make sure you always hit that little bell so you're notified of live streams and new videos. But before we begin for tonight's extravaganza, as I take you through every aspect of this that you need to know, first, this incredibly important word from our incredibly important sponsor. It's no longer a question of if something catastrophic is coming, it's when. And while you still have some control, what are you going to do about it now to prepare? Well, your first step is going to my website, preparewithlionel.com. And for a limited time, take $200 off a 3-month emergency food supply. My Patriot Supply is equipped to help you and your family to prepare. They've helped over 2 million families already. These 3-month kits with ready hour foods provide over 2,000 calories every day with 22 varieties and a 25-year shelf life. Breakfast, lunches, dinners, drinks, snacks, everything. And they're sealed inside 6 rugged waterproof buckets, and they're over 120 pounds of food. So take advantage right now and go to preparewithlionel.com, preparewithlionel.com. One more time, preparewithlionel.com. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let us begin with a couple of things here. First and foremost, whenever you listen to somebody who is on TV, whether it's speaking in favor, and I say TV, not on regular, digital platforms, but let's say for the most part, Fox, and I don't watch Fox. I do like very, very much. I told you the best is Andy McCarthy. I think he is the best. Jonathan Turley is a close second, and John Yoo is okay. But remember what they want to do. They want to tell you specifically what it is that will get their bluster, their image out there. I heard Judge Janine say something which was balderdash. I don't think she knew what the hell she was talking about. I think it was more of the, let me go with a gut bucket, Brian Gut Bucket. Let me see if I can say something that people say, oh, that's great. Because remember, their bottom line is simply clicks, likes, metrics, ratings. That's it. And it should be. But her commentary is ridiculous. Andy McCarthy is the way to go. He wrote something today in National Review, which was so good, so, dare I say, so wonky. It was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And by the way, welcome Susan Walters and Monica Peters, 2 new members. Welcome to the Conspiratorium. We welcome you. Now, first, let's talk about this. Number 1, what are the possibilities? What are we looking at here? Number 1, guilty. Guilty of everything. 34 counts. Guilty, 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 guilty. So say we all. Unanimous guilt. That's number 1. Number 2, not guilty. Not guilty of everything. Every single charge, not guilty. This will be unanimous. 3, kind of a split. Guilty of some, not guilty of others, which makes no sense whatsoever. Nothing. It makes no sense. Well, I'm going to find them guilty in count 4, which dealt with the invoice to the John Donald J. Trump irrevocable trust, versus count 7, where I will acquit, involving a check versus an invoice or a warrant or a voucher. It doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. But none of this thing makes any sense. And the 4th possibility, which I say, if you're going to really, and I'm torn, but you would have one person vote straight up and down, not guilty, and that is a hung jury. It's a mistrial. Now, there's different ways to get a mistrial. 1, you can do something really, really crazy. For example, Mr. Blanche said during closing arguments, don't send him to prison. Did you hear that? Don't send the president to prison. And he went crazy. Mershon went crazy. Why? What was wrong with that? What's wrong with that? They asked Judge Janine this on something. I happened to see her on a YouTube. I don't know if she heard the question or whatever, she'd slept over it. Do you know why that would be a problem? Why is that mistrial worthy? Here is the quickest way for a mistrial. Number 1, remember, mistrial can be a hung jury or something so egregious, something so terrible that happens in the middle of the trial, they stop and they say, that's it, forget it, we're done. Thank you very much. Everybody go home. We'll do it again. or will allow the prosecution to decide whether they want to do it. Whenever a mistrial is declared, I declare a mistrial. If that's true, if they declare a mistrial, then it goes back to the prosecutor. He decides, well, what do? You could either retry the same thing. You could drop the charges to maybe reduce them, see if Trump will take a misdemeanor, or I don't think he'll do that. Maybe they could drop the charges. The prosecution's not going to do that. But you start from scratch. One of the quickest ways for a mistrial, absolutely, is to comment on the defendant's not taking the stand. If the prosecutor would have said, ladies and gentlemen, they say there's two sides to every story. Well, you never guess it from this guy. Mistrial. Thank you very much. It's done. See ya. Have a nice day. Sometimes it happens as quickly as, an officer, did you question the defendant? Yes. What did the defendant say? He said, I'm not talking. I want to talk to my lawyer. Mistrial. Commenting on a defendant's right to remain silent. Imputing guilt. Absolute mistrial. See ya. But what you can't do is you can't let the jury hear anything about sentencing. The only time sentencing may come up is in a death penalty case, specifically when you're dealing with the sentence itself. This is in a split. This is during the guilt phase and the penalty phase. But normally, you can't talk about that. You can't. The prosecutors can't say, hey, look, do me a favor. Go find him guilty. He'll probably end up doing probation anyway. Trump's a first-timer. It's a nonviolent objection. The prosecutor can't talk about the verdict. I mean, the sentence. Does that make sense to you? Think about that. Go ahead and convict them. Because remember, ladies and gentlemen, what do they want? They want the president to be found guilty. They want the president to be found guilty. They want the president to be found guilty. Okay? You understand this? They want him to be found guilty, and then they want him to be convicted so they can say he is the convicted felon. It means everything to them. They don't even care about him going to jail, going to prison. We'll get to that in a moment. They don't care about that. Why? So that numbnuts, the president, Biden, can say, I'm not going to debate you because you're a convicted felon. I know that sounds crazy, doesn't it? Everything sounds crazy. So because because Blanche said, don't send him to prison, Mershon went crazy. So you know what I would say? Okay, judge, tell you what, do the right thing. Declare a mistrial. Oh, no, you don't. Oh, no, you don't. Could Mr. Blanche, the defense lawyer, could he have done that on purpose to try to deliberately, gum up the works, bring on a mistrial, deliberately bring it? I would say no, that would be unethical. It's happened before. See, the thing is, they want to do this after the mistrial. Anytime there's a mistrial, you got to do this all over again. And they hate that. The defense knows all the tricks, and the prosecution knows all the tricks. Whom to call, whom not to call. So anyway, it was pretty good though if you think about it. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, don't send this man to prison. Objection, go ahead, judge, grant a mistrial. I can't grant a mistrial because I am Judge Mershon, and I want to deliver a conviction, and I can't convict when there's a goddamn mistrial. Christos Stavros says, hello, Mrs. L and Nation. Truth, I'm a Trump visiting Rikers Island with my SS detail. Sick crazy. I'm a Trump visiting Rikers Island with, I don't know what that means, but I love you. I'm a Trump visiting Rikers Island with his SS detail. Oh, Secret Service detail. He's not going to go. And I'm glad you, and by the way, Christos, thank you. Honeyman. Christos sent me one time the best spicy honey you've ever seen in your life. So next, is the president going to jail? No. Is he going to prison? No. Yeah, but they say, I don't care what they say. No. No. Yeah, but he's going to be, He's not going to, he's not. They're having fun with that on Drudge. Why? So you can read Drudge. By the way, are they pulling a Kate Middleton on Drudge? Is he alive? Is he alive? Does he even exist? I'm dead serious. Is there really? Does he exist? This dude, this feller? Have you seen Mr. Drudge? I just wonder. Just saying. Anyway, hang on a minute. Let me see something here. Do a little calculation here. Because I believe, couple of things here. The biggest concern is he going to jail? Let me just get to that one. No. Prison is for felonies. Jail is for misdemeanors. He is not going to be, if he's found guilty, they are not going to do this. They are not. It's not going to happen. They are not. Trump would love this. Trump would say, please do it. You can't do it. First of all, Secret Service says, excuse me, yeah, you can't do this. You're not going to put him in Rikers. You're not going to do it in Rikers. Even if you want to bring Christos in, you're not going to bring him in Rikers. Ain't going to do it. Stop it. Ain't going to happen. Sleuth Chick, thank you so much, Sleuth. Appreciate the super sticker. Appreciate it. That ain't going to happen. What about a jail? Rikers Island is really a jail. Jail is for misdemeanors. Jail is for people who are convicted of misdemeanors. Jail is for people who are being held without bond. Jail is for people who are being held for trial who can't post the bond because they can't afford the high bond. Whatever. Jail is, for the most part, where people are presumed innocent, where they're being held prior. It's not like prison for felonies. If you are convicted of something, if your sentence is over a year, it's a felony, and it's a prison. He's not going to do it. They're not going to do it. I don't care what they say. They're going to be talking to Secret Service. They've been talking about this the whole time. Now, when you sit back and you watch these people, you say to yourself, are they just crazy? Yes. Can you predict what they're going to do? No. He is not going to go. If he were Joe Blow and he's found guilty of a nonviolent case, no priors, as soon as he files an appeal, they're going to stay the whole thing. This doesn't help Mershon because he's not convicted, or is he? They're going to call him convicted. Now, convicted is a real tough one. Does that mean if you're found guilty, are you convicted? Well, yeah, technically, the court has to make a formal adjudication of finding of guilt. If you would you stay the adjudication? I don't know. They're going to call him. Doesn't matter. They're going to say convicted. They're not going to. It's just like they say things. They get jail and prison confused. They get robbery and burglary confused. It's lay talk, and they're going to say he's convicted. So that's the bottom line with that. But I must tell you what happened today, which was just absolutely incredible for reasons that I will never understand. This goes to show you what is the purpose. Let's watch what happened, and then let's ask what the hell happened.
And elections, forget about it. That's over. That's done. If he gets in, I can tell you right now, he will never leave. He will never leave.
Now, hold it. Excuse me, Bobby. Yeah, you're a cretin. You're a moron, okay? Bless your heart. You are an overrated. You see the guy. Look at the guy. Look at this entourage. They were yelling. I can't even play it for you because there's kids here. They were screaming. It was truly. There was just I didn't want to do it. But remember, he's at the trial. A man Christo says, convict this. I love that. Stu Arcadia. Ooh, this is when you do that Greek cursing, you got me there, my friend. God bless you. He's at a man's. This guy is at. The jury is about to maybe take into account to deliberate. They're still arguing. They're still doing closing arguments and finalizing this. So why would he even risk a jury listening to this? Why would he want to contaminate the proceedings? But then again, look at this moron. Do you know how this is the greatest actor in the world, and he's got to read notes because he's a Boeotian. He's a moron. He's a moron. Look how, listen to this terrible, awful delivery. Again, one more time.
And elections, forget about it. That's over. That's done. If he gets in, I can tell you right now, he will never leave. He will never leave. You know that. He will never leave.
He left the first time.
What?
Bobby, he left the first time. He was gone. In fact, he left even earlier. Remember that? He was gone. He took his stuff, they put him in the thing, and he got the hell out of there. What are you talking about?
Never leave. What does that mean?
I don't know. You tell me.
Is that the country we want to live in? Do we want him running this country?
Yes.
And saying, I'm not leaving, I'm dictator for life?
He's not. He didn't say that. He's reading the paper.
I hope this new ad campaign reaches outside the bubble to remind supporters.
This ad campaign? And don't you love the car horn? This is an ad campaign? He's a judge.
Remind supporters of what a danger he is to our lives.
What are you talking about?
This is not a threat. This is a reality. And that's why I've joined the Biden-Harris campaign, because the only way to preserve our freedoms and hold on to our humanity is to vote for Joe Biden for president. Really.
Really?
We don't have a choice.
On
January 6th, while Republican lawmakers despicably tried to keep the loser Trump,
think about this. Do you think somebody at the DNC is saying, who got this moron? Why is he there? He's doing this is why I joined the Biden here. What is this? Seriously, somebody tell me. They are freaking out. They don't know what to do. Now, did you see this one? Now, for anybody in the business who dares to say this, Piers Morgan was on with Mr. Dennis Quaid.
Trump.
I think I'm going to vote for him.
Really?
Yeah, in the next election. Yes, I am.
Are you ready for the blowback?
Well, yeah.
If inevitably comes with Trump?
You know, I think in this election, everybody's got to, I think they're going to take a side or whatever, but it just seems to me, it just makes sense. I was ready not to vote for Trump until what I saw is more than politics. I see a weaponization of our justice system. Actually, yes, I am.
Are you ready for the blowback?
Well, yeah.
If inevitably.
He's talking about lawfare, ladies and gentlemen. This is exactly this is exactly what this has caused. Lawfare. The weaponization, as he says, of the legal proceedings.
Well, you know, I think in this election, everybody's got to, I think they're going to take a side or whatever, but it just seems to me, it just makes sense. I was ready not to vote for Trump until what I saw is more than politics. I see a weaponization of our justice system.
Yeah.
And a challenge to our Constitution, us as Americans, that I don't think we're going to have. And
you hear what he's saying? I'm voting for him because of what they're doing to him. This is incredible. I'm voting for him because of what they're doing to him. Oh, this is beautiful.
You know, Trump is the most investigated person probably in the history of the world.
Here.
And they haven't been able to really get him. People might call him an asshole, but he's my asshole.
I love this guy. J.M. Sparger says, please help. How is it possible for the jury to consider convictions on anything other than as indicted? Or am I completely ignorant of this? No, sir or ma'am. No, you're absolutely correct. Ask CS, the honeyman himself. Ask Christos. It's unbelievable. We don't know. We don't know what this is. We don't know what this is. No, believe me, do not adjust your set. Do not adjust your set. Whoa. Hang on a minute. Take it easy. Take it easy. Unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. Unbelievable. Now, let us go back to this excitement here. I want to point something else to you as well. The best has been for the following. I heard John Yoo say something which to me made absolutely no sense whatsoever. He was talking about getting into the mind, and we're going to go through this when this is the most important issue available. This is it. And we're going to talk to a former federal election commissioner and give the best. This should be the jury instructions. He was not allowed to testify, nor was Trump's accountant, who was directly responsible for writing these checks. But he can't talk because they won't grant him immunity. They don't want him on the stand. They're not granting him immunity. He can't testify. He's like 80, I don't know, he's close to it. He's been in Rikers Island now, I think, twice. And they don't want him. They think about this. Trump wants to call him, but if they do call him, they can't grant him immunity. He says, I'm not going to talk. They're going to get me on perjury again or something else. And they deliberately are not granting him immunity because they don't want him to speak. Oh, this thing is a railroad like you cannot believe. But ladies and gentlemen, speaking about railroading, remember what they did to our good friend Mike Lindell? Remember what they did to him? They tried to run him out of town. Well, guess what? He's still here. And as we say, as Elton John sang, I'm still standing, and so is he. It's time yet again, my friends, to hail and salute our great friends at mypillow.com. And if you use promo code Lionel, you'll get a free gift. No purchase necessary. And yes, I know a free gift. It's a tautology, so sue me. But first, listen carefully. Check out their $25 extravaganzas. Premium My Pillows, Queen and King, My Pillow 2.0, My Pillow bed sheets, the lowest price ever. Sandals, slides, slippers, 6-piece towel sets, 4-pack dish towel sets. Simply and absolutely unbelievable. So go to mypillow.com/Lionel, mypillow.com promo code Lionel, or call 800-645-4965, and watch how fast Mike Lindell answers the phone. MyPillow.com, simply and absolutely the best. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the best stories ever, believe it or not, was the following. Former President Trump's legal team was expecting to call on a former commissioner of the Federal Election Commission to testify in the case. But the expert's testimony was not heard after Judge Mershon curbed the scope of what he could discuss before the jury. Judge Mershon has so restricted my testimony that defense has decided not to call me. Now, it's elementary that the judge instructs the jury on the law, so I understand his reluctance. This is what Bradley Smith said. But the Federal Election Campaign Act is very complex. Even Antonin Scalia, a pretty smart guy, even you hate him, once said that the campaign finance law is so intricate that I can't figure it out. Picture a jury in a products liability case trying to figure out if a complex machine was negligently designed based on a boilerplate recitation of the general definition of negligence. They'd be lost without technology and industry norms. They did not want him to take the stand. And why is it? This is the most important. Number one, ladies and gentlemen, if Donald Trump wrote a check, now remember, question number one, is it personal or is it campaign? Is it personal or is it campaign? Question number one. Number two, what is the check for? And number three, when do these acts, when does the law kick in? What is a campaign act? What is the Federal Election Campaign Act? This is the most important thing to understand. This is the gravamen. This is the essence, if you will, of the case. If you decide that you want to go out and buy a wardrobe of just the most expensive clothes or whatever, because you think it would make you look better, you think that electors and voters would like you more, that is not a campaign expense. Sorry. Even though it benefits everybody. If you want to wear a toupee and fool the people into thinking that you really have hair, that is not a campaign expense. If you want to get your teeth done and caps and veneers, that is not a campaign expense. If you own a company and you say, you know what, I got a bunch of these lawsuits out there, but you tell them, settle these lawsuits, get rid of them. I don't want them hanging around. That's not a campaign expense. If you have some unruly, some disgruntled employees that are giving you a hard time, and you tell your guy, look, do me a favor. I want you to let these people go. Give them a severance package. Give me a severance package, okay? You got that? Sia says, oh man, he's my a-hole as well. Love this skata. Pun intended. Love yous. Maga or manga. Greek term, manga. I like that. Thank you, my friend. So what am I saying? If this is something that you would have done anyway, if this is something which anybody can do at any time, it's not campaign. It's not campaign related. Nothing. If you have put it this way, you live in a world where you say, oh God, listen, you call your lawyer up, listen, I got a problem here. What is it? I'm getting married. And I got this woman here who could testify that while we were dating, we were together, and can you, my lawyer, go and this is somebody who's not even running. Could you get her to pay her something and just have her sign an NDA? Sure. You can do that. If you want to have a billboard that puts up that says Christos Stavro is the greatest guy in the world, the greatest man, the greatest, he's the best. And you go, this is nice. Is that campaign? Nope. Why? Because anybody could do that. Why you'd want to do that, I don't know. But opening up a campaign office, having a campaign person buying, having things, filing fees, things that are associated with campaigns, that's a different story. Listen to Mr. Brad Smith. Listen very carefully in this exceedingly important and critical, and I played this before, but it's important that we hear this again.
Well, I disagree that the fundamental question here is whether or not he intended to influence the campaign. That is the statutory language, but it has an objective component. And in fact, under FEC regulations and under the laws traditionally understood, the obligation has to arise from the campaign in order to be something that you pay with campaign expenditures. So for example, if a businessman has lawsuits pending against his businesses, he thinks they're bogus, they have no merit, but he tells his company lawyer, settle these lawsuits, I don't want the distraction while I'm running for office, and I don't want people thinking that I'm a heartless tycoon. Pay whatever it takes. That doesn't convert those settlements to campaign expenditures. They are still personal expenditures which are required to be paid personally. So I really think the question is, were these campaign expenditures? And I think most people don't think that paying hush money is a campaign expenditure. And if it were, then we're going to be in a situation where, for example, recently we've had about 40 congressmen or so that we've been revealed that they paid sex harassment settlements out of their office accounts. What we're going to start saying is that those have to be paid from campaign funds, right, rather than by the congressman personally for their sex harassment. That's not what campaign funds are for. We're inverting the law and allowing the campaign funds to be used as sort of a slush fund.
Now, let me explain this. This is important. This is critical stuff. This is critical stuff. He said the objective test. What is the subject? You hear this in law all the time, the objective test versus subjective. The question is not what Trump thinks. If Trump said, I'm going to fool these voters because I'm going to pay off these biatches, these women. I'm going to pay them off. See, because if they ever found out about this, they may not want me as their president. So I'm going to fool them by making them think these women don't exist and they never knew about them in the first place. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to write these checks out. Now, does it matter what he thinks? No. It doesn't matter what he thinks. He cannot think they're fooling the breaking the law, or he can think they are breaking the law. It doesn't matter. You apply an objective test. Is this something that is a part of elections? No. No. Now, you may say, what does it make sense? I'm telling you the law, and this is why they needed him. You needed him to take the stand to say, it doesn't matter. Then, if it doesn't matter, I don't give a goddamn what you call it under this business, this fraudulent business, because remember what the indictment says. Now, if you're getting confused, and I'm here to explain this to you, think what the jurors are doing, because they throw a bunch of stuff at them and they let them go back in the jury room and they go, what the hell did this mean? Count one, the defendant, Donald Trump, in the county of New York and elsewhere, on or about February the 14th, 2017, with the intent to defraud whom? And intent to commit another crime. What other crime? And aid and conceal the commission thereof. Of what? Made and caused a false entry in the business records of an enterprise, to wit, an invoice from Michael Cohen dated February the 14th, 2017, marked as a record of the Donald J. Trump Revocable Trust and kept and maintained by the Trump Organization. Do you understand what that means? No! That's count one. Now, this was an invoice. Count two is that identical language, but this is a voucher number, 842457. What's the difference between an invoice and a voucher? I don't know. The statute is falsifying business records in the first degree, section 175.10. This is the penal laws. What does this mean? I don't know. But he wrote it as a campaign, but he said it was legal fees. He said it was legal fees. Don't you understand? Don't you understand? He wrote it as legal fees, and he wrote them as legal fees. As opposed to campaign fees. Okay. And Bradley Smith would have said, but they're not campaign fees. Now, do you know why they don't want them there? You could put down whatever it was, and under the law, nobody would have known anything until after the election. Ladies and gentlemen, let me just ask you something. Let me stop right now. I've got to do this, and I always feel terrible, but I must say this. We really, dear friends, need your likes. Your likes are so important to us. I need 1,000 likes. I know. You're thinking, what? Is he doing this? Yes. I'm pouring my heart out. And I'm asking you. No, I'm ain't too proud to beg. I think David Ruffin said it best. I need your likes. Big time. I need your likes. I need thousands. You stop what you're doing and like these things. So let's go back again. Now you know why they don't want Bradley Smith. Ladies and gentlemen, do you understand what this means? What's the other case? I don't know. So imagine you're sitting in there and you go, okay, we got 34 counts of this. Anybody want to, we got some jury instructions, I guess. Sometimes, you ready for this? Sometimes, I don't know what the rule is with them. Sometimes judges do not like you to take notes or bring in notes because then you end up paying more attention to the notes. Have you ever heard the jury instruction for reasonable doubt? Oh my God. A reasonable doubt is not a forced doubt or a speculative doubt. It's a doubt you can attach a reason to. If you were at the end of this, let me read this to you. I'm just give you an idea of how this is. Reasonable doubt, jury instruction. If you can understand this, I've heard this a million times, but I still don't get it. I still don't get it. These are the final jury instructions. You ready for this? And this is jury deliberation rules, verdict sheet. Okay, let's see 43. Okay, let's go down here. Let's see this one. Let's see what this is. Okay, let me see. If a jury wants to speak. No, it's not going to be any good. I'm trying to get the one that says the actual jury, the non-jury. You know that in law, in civil cases, if this was a car accident, and we say, well, I think they proved the case. I think the plaintiff proved the case. I think he was negligent. There was damages. Yeah. Well, how much do they have to prove it? Preponderance of the evidence. What? Is it more likely than not that the defendant was negligent? 51%. Yeah, but that's it. If it's yeah, he probably it's it. That works in civil cases. That's it. Yep. You don't find them guilty, you find them liable. That's preponderance of the evidence. Is it more likely than not? Yeah, that's it. Reasonable doubt. If this is the teeter-totter, the swing, the seesaw, that one little shave above dead even, that's it. In criminal, this is reasonable doubt. Oh my God. And we always say, Mr. Jones, would you promise me that if you find the defendant not guilty, if you have a doubt, would you make sure there's a reason behind it? That there's a reason for the doubt? That's what we'd ask. That's a reasonable doubt. I doubt this case. I'm going to find him not guilty because I believe I have a doubt whether they proved blank. I have a doubt, a reasonable doubt, a reason. I'm not sure about the alibi. I'm not sure about the ID. I'm not sure about the weight of the drugs. I'm not sure. That's reasonable doubt. It's a doubt I attach to a reason. I got a reason for it. As opposed to, maybe. So these jurors are going to go in there and they're going to turn and go, what the hell do we do? There's no starting rules. And you got two lawyers in there. You got two lawyers. They're going to look at them. Can you help us out with this? You're a lawyer, aren't you? What do we do? Hey, I'm the foreman. Okay, fine. But what do we do? Now, this is where it gets real good. You're going to have some people in there who are going to say the first thing they're going to do is they're going to try to remember. And I hope they don't do this. Well, do you think he had sex with Stormy Daniels? What? Well, she was on the stand. Well, yeah. Well, do you think they had sex? Well, wait. Well, excuse me. What are you asking that for? Well, I want to know. She said they had sex, and he said he didn't. What does that have to do with anything? Well, why the hell was she on the stand? I don't know. Now do you know why the problem with Stormy Daniels is? Now do you understand? Now do you get it? Now? You're going to say, well, what does this have to do with anything? I don't understand. Well, it goes to show, I don't know. But I'm telling you right now, there is this deal right now. There is a big problem. And the problem that we have is we've got to sift through this. What did Stormy Daniels have to do with anything? I don't know. Well, why did we have her on? I don't know. I'm looking at the jury instructions, and what does it say about? Is there a part about Stormy Daniels? No. This is about, again, let me say this again to you. This is why this case is so horrible. This is about the statute called the falsifying business records in the first degree. What did Stormy Daniels have to do with anything? Was Stormy Daniels there? Can she tell us the difference between an invoice and a voucher? No. Can she tell us the idea? Well, why was she there? They threw this at you so that maybe you'd hate him, or maybe you would think this is salacious, this concupiscent trollop, this vixen, this thing. Do you hear what I'm saying? Do you hear what I'm saying? How are the likes doing, Nightingale? How are the likes doing? Don't let me down, son. Don't let me down. So they're going to say, no, first, forget. No, I'm going to talk about Stormy Daniels. I don't want to talk about Stormy Daniels. Stormy Daniels is not a part of this. I'm the jury. Now, damn it, we've got 34 counts here. Well, wait a minute. Stop talking about Stormy Daniels. See? Now, that can work either. And they can say, well, I guess that proves what? I don't know. Okay, what are we trying to prove? What's the other crime? I don't know. There is a statute, if you really want to get wonky about this, really, and I hate to use that word wonky, but if you really want to get into this, read this great article by Andy McCarthy. Oh, it's great. And it said, in essence, it provided that this one jury said the fraud may not have even intended to defraud someone in particular, or that the fraud may not have been identified or articulated. Are you confused? This one red line, they're going to go into this and they're going to say, I don't even know where to start with this thing. I don't know where to start with this. And that's why Bradley Smith could have come in there and taken care of it. He could have said, no. You got to ask yourself this question. Is this something that only can be done when you run for office? Well, that's good. Yes. Could he have paid McDougal or Pecker or one of them? McDougal doesn't come into this. Could he have done that? Could he have? Yes. Then that's not it. But we need an instruction. Well, we're not going to get an instruction because they don't want him to be there. Well, what did Michael Cohen do? Now, Michael Cohen, you ready for this? This is the problem. This is the problem. And this is probably the best reason why we have this particular situation. And the best reason why, dare I say, this might be reversible error. What does that mean? When you go to an appellate court, when you appeal something, you have to, if you're the appellant, you're the person who was bringing the appeal. And the appellee is the other side, the one who was successful, the one who doesn't want the appeal. But as the appellant, you have to prove not that there was error, but that there was reversible error. Reversible error. Do you hear what I'm saying? Error that is so egregious, because there's always a mistake. There's always some kind of error, but it's going to be reversible. That's the issue. And you've got to say, well, what was reversible? What was so egregious? It's like, how much time do you have? But believe it or not, one of the worst things that happened, and this may sound to you kind of, it's not going to grab you by the oogats, but it's going to make you think. They kept referring to the fact that Michael Cohen had pled guilty to election fraud. And they didn't specify that the president was not charged with election fraud. This is not about election fraud. This is not about, and they kept giving this, there was no instruction. So one could argue throughout the whole time that they said, oh, well, if Michael Cohen was guilty of it, and he may or may not have actually been guilty of election fraud. Tony Stark says, Stormy was meant to show how any right-minded person would want to cover up being with that skank. Thank you, Tony, but actually it confounded reasons. Do you understand, Tony? And thank you for your comment. Do you understand that this could hurt President Trump? If you get somebody in there who hates him, who said, Now, let me ask you this. When you're in a jury, anybody been in a jury before? Anybody live in a jury? Or live in a jury or been in a jury? Have you ever been in a jury? Not on jury duty, but been in a jury. It is one of the most incredible things you've ever seen. And what it does is it puts people in a unique position. Let me explain to you. First, normally in most jurisdictions, you have some kind of a badge or something that says juror. And they would say, get away, don't talk to them, don't look at them. Ah! And you're the juror in the biggest case in history. I was on the Trump case that charged him with a crime. A former president who's about to win. I was on that one? Yes. Because the other 4 cases are going away. The Fannie Willis case, that thing's a piece of dog crap. But I mean, it's still racketeering, please. The January 6th case, they've postponed that until SCOTUS can determine what to do with immunity. As far as the Jack Smith documents case, that thing's a dog. He himself might be held in contempt. That's the 3rd one. This is the 4th one. Don't forget, E.G. and Carroll was civil. The case involving Tish James and Judge Engeron, that was civil. This is different. So you were a part of the biggest case ever. Now, when you're there, you wake up, you show up in the morning. Hello, how are you, Jane? How are you? And you're the only ones. You become like family in a weird way. You're family. You don't know what to do really. It's like, oh my God, is everything okay? Everything's all right. You're family. Yeah, we're family. Okay, all right, okay, good. We're family. We're family. That's right. We're family. Yeah, we're family. What do we do? I don't know what we do, but we got to do something. They're looking at us. I know they're looking at us. This is weird. So then you get back there, you get into the room, and you finally close the door and you start. And depending upon, and this is what somebody noticed. I don't know if this is true or not, but some of the folks noticed that there does not seem to be cohesion. There isn't a sense of family. There is something that is missing, something drastically missing, something, I don't know what it is, okay? If you get in there and anything goes wrong, anything, frustration, worry, people trying to boss others around, let me remind you of something. We live in a world of Karens now. I think it's 7 men and 5 women, or 7? I don't know. We live in a world of Karens. And I don't mean just Karens, women. I mean people who are rude, people who are obstreperous, people who are angry, people who are in many, many respects horrible to each other. Horrible, horrid. Okay? And what's interesting to note with all of this stuff that's going on is that when you're in that room and something gets started, you can get angry. And that's where the mistrial comes from. If I could say to one juror, without saying it, I want you to go back and I want you to tell these people, this isn't about you. This isn't about Trump. It's not about New York. It's not about the judge. It's not about Stormy Daniels. It's about the fact that they did not prove their case. The evidence is not there. Jurors love to be able to say, hey, look, it was you acquitted OJ. Your evidence wasn't there. Really? Wasn't there? Remember something. And this is the hardest thing for people to understand. Your job as a juror is not to be a detective. Your job as a juror is not to be a detective. If you were standing there outside during a break, and you saw this very nice man, everybody got a dirty water dog from the hot dog vendor and everything, and somebody came up and shot this poor guy dead, boom, right in front of you, and somehow you were a juror, another juror on another case involving the murder, and they bring this guy in. They charge this guy, and you say, I was there. I know he was killed. I know that guy, and I can't believe I'm a juror, but I'm a juror. Okay, fine. And they bring this guy in, and nobody identifies him. And you say, come on, just point him out. Did you see the person who shot? No. Who's this guy? Well, he's a defendant. Did he confess? No. I got to find him not guilty, even though I love this guy. Even though I saw the guy being killed. I don't know. They didn't prove anything. I don't know. That's it. You're not a police officer. You're not a detective. This isn't a mystery novel. You're not trying to figure out what really happened. Oh, I see what happened. You see Trump, but no. They're trying to make the jury find Trump guilty of a case where he conspired to violate a law that is not a law under New York state law, a federal election law, which Brad Smith could have testified was not broken. He conspired to conceal a law, an action, which is not against the law. And you're asking yourself, how is this happening? You're saying that? That's great. Judge Janine saying that. Craig Gowdy? Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. He's saying that. Andy McCarthy saying that. Dershowitz will say anything. Dershowitz, he says it. Everybody says it. I mean, the CNN says it. This one says it. It's the biggest piece of shit anybody's ever seen. So let me ask you a question, Mr. Big Shot. Why is that judge allowing it? How can this be? How can we live in a country where this is even possible? How can they do this to not only anybody, but a former president of the United States? Why isn't somebody going in there and saying, you got to stop this? How did it go this far? How did it go this far with this judge, with gag orders, with Stormy Daniels, with talking about his missionary this and that and condoms and Michael Cohen, who was the perennial super liar? How does this happen? That's it. God help this country. And then what's even worse, you have this, and I don't understand what the story is. You take this all of a sudden in the middle of everything. And what do?
And elections, forget about it. That's
You bring
over.
this
That's
guy.
done. If he gets in, I can tell you right now, he will never leave. He will never leave.
This I don't know why this confounds me so. Before this is a trial. Why are you? What? This is incoherent. Everything is incoherent. God help this country. God help this country. I'm serious. God help us. What they're doing, this is beyond horrible, beyond anything I ever thought even remotely possible. We are so close to 1,000 likes, my friend. I don't mean to do this to you. We are so close to 1,000 likes. We are so close with your love. With your love. I'm just we have a little simple shop here. It's just me and the missus. No producers. Everything you see is just little old me. Just little old me and you. That's it. I'm not a big shot. Don't have 1 million plus. I like to have. And the only way that's going to happen is if I get these likes. I'm just a country boy. How dare you? I love doing that. I'm a manualist. And all it takes is just a few more. So God bless America. God bless us. I mean it. I mean it. I hope to God what this Jadrul, this moron, and I always thought he was stupid, but they say, well, he's not much of a talker. He's stupid. He's stupid. It's not that he's not much of a talker. He's an idiot. And absolutely, Robert Delirious. He's horrible. In any event, I thank you. Just 24 more likes, and I hit 1,000, and I'm done. I'll leave you alone. Just 24 more. That's it. But we're going to watch this. And we're going to go out there, and we're going to make sure that we never forget what happens. I'm going to tell you exactly what's going on. My prediction, hung jury. It's going to be one juror who hangs it up. One juror, very elected. We've hit it. Thank you, my friends. Thank you for that. One juror who says, this is ridiculous. There's no evidence. I don't even understand what I'm doing. It takes one juror. That's it. So, my friends, I want to thank you for this. I want to thank you. Also, I want you to do me another big, huge, and wonderful favor. Dear friends. Dear friends. I want you to follow Mrs. L. Now, I have linked her, I believe, YouTube address. It's Lynn's Warriors. It's very simple. Lynn's Warriors. And she is doing things right now that are so important, so critical, so important, so monumentally important. There's no other way around it than to tell you that it would mean the world to us. We would be so honored by you subscribing to her YouTube channel. All right, dear friends, thank you. And before I forget, to you wonderful folks, to Tony Stark, ladies and gentlemen, to the great Christo Stavros, CS, the Honeyman, to J.M. Sparger, to Sleuth Chick, and to Monica Peters and Susan Walters, we thank you. Thank you for your kindness. Thank you for your beneficence. Thank you for everything. My friends, we will see you again tomorrow where we pick up where we left off. Thank you so much, dear friends. And thank you for the likes. And thank you for being here. And we're going to get through this. So remember, we're going to win this. Bev Taylor, ladies and gentlemen, love you. Thank you. Bev, thank you so much. I appreciate that immensely. Cannot say it enough. All right, dear friends, see you tomorrow, 8 a.m. Until then, remember these words, this final word, the valedictory, the monkey's dead, the show's over, sue you. Dead.